Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, reading from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 4, entitled The Confidential Reasons for the Lord's Appearance. This is Adilila number 1, text 41. Seems like 41. Yes. Okay, anybody remembers anything after 1 month, more than 1 month, what we discussed last time? Anybody has anything written? Any point? No?
Exactly find how to be a devotee.
Yeah, that's the whole chapter about it. It's the last. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaching us how to be a devotee. Yes, we have to be taught everything. It's very interesting. And later on, once we are taught, oh, that's our inherent. That's something that belongs to us. That's something who we are. But that's not a fact. Everything we are doing in devotional service, we have been taught how to do. Everything we achieved, we have been guided towards that achievement. Anything we realize, it's not again our realization. It's Guru's mercy, Krishna's mercy. Practically every step, anything we've ever gained in our life, it's nothing to do with us. We only desire. Everything else is Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy. So I should never be ungrateful for even any slightest advancement that we make, especially in the spiritual life. Nothing to do with us. We only desire. So hopefully at least we desire right thing. That's to our credit. That's all. Everything else is Krishna's mercy. Okay, so if we don't remember anything that we discussed last time, what was going on? You had some classes, right, on Wednesdays. So what? What was discussed? Something else, some other subjects, no?
How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was initiated? Yeah, that was that. How he was initiated? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivering.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was initiated. Yeah, but that was funny. Nawab Hussain Shah. He was initiated by Nawab Hussain. Shankha. Okay, it's a whole big mess going on. Okay, so let's clarify what we should hear.
You had told about some person who asked you, why is he not God?
Yeah, but that's
Then
out
you
of.
had told that
I
God
know. Anyway.
does not mind to act like God. He doesn't mind to act like God.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, let's hear today. Ei mata bhakta bhavakari agni kara apanyachari bhakti karila prachara Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. That's a report. I think we did something here already. Anyway. In this way, assuming the sentiment of a devotee, he preached devotional service or practicing it himself. Okay. Report: when Rupa Goswami met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayag, Allahabad, he offered his respectful obeisances by submitting that Lord Chaitanya was more magnanimous than any other avatar of Krishna, because he was distributing love of Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalaka Chakshana Vitamina Tasmai Shri Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishi Shashana Bhashacharya Shitari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vitarada Shri Sri Guru Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Long purport, so we're going to break it. And there are many points. Just now in the beginning, Srila Prabhupada mentions two things. So, how to understand why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu assumed a sentiment of a devotee, preached devotional service by practicing it himself. Because again, we have to be always guided. It's always guiding. We don't know what's our position, we don't know what to do, we don't even know what is the final goal, what to expect of what is to be done. So practically every moment we have to be guided. It's just like small children or big children, anybody, again, still, throughout the life practically, there's a constant guidance. Some things we do learn, but some things we keep on learning. Who was that? I think Seneca, as one Roman senator, and he was like Sanjaya, he was like a minister to some king's bride, like prime minister or something. So he said, live to learn and keep on learning. Live to learn and keep on learning as you go on living. Paraphrased. So essentially what he wanted to point to is that learning process, it's not an ending process. It's an ongoing process. And we still, I guess everybody has that experience that sometimes somebody comes and tells us something that, no, this should be done in this way. And this is not how it should be done. And then sometimes we are like, I've been around for so, who is there to tell me anything? And now it's like, but it's amazing. We still keep on learning many things. I mean, I can recollect even just sometimes recently. There's some things you just always, there's some aspects or some points or some nuances of anything that we do in life that it can be done better. Or maybe it has been done even wrong to some extent. And it has to be corrected. At least maybe perception of it should be corrected. So at every step we need a guidance. And what do we speak of? Absolute spiritual world where there is, as we hear Krishna, it's connoisseur, which means someone who expects absolute perfection. There is no like now, we do something and we say, oh yes, Krishna will accept because we're doing out of bhakti, even though if it's not perfect, it's not really done properly. But just because, okay, we are attempting, so then it's counted as bhakti. But in the spiritual world, Krishna is not satisfied. He wants absolute perfection. He wants 100%. He wants everything. And he's not satisfied with that. He wants even more than that. He wants absolute surrender. We know in any relationship, when we're dealing with someone, are we happy with just some casual, temporary, mediocre, some kind of dealing? No, we want 100%. Almost practically. We want everything. We want full attention. We want full energy. We want everything. We're not satisfied. So Krishna is not satisfied. I mean, if in our ordinary material dealings we are not satisfied, we want so much more, because then, and how much do we get upset when we see that the person that we have expectations from it's giving that energy and attention and care and so much and so whatever else to someone else, and we become neglected? No? Do we like that? Is it very nice? No. So Krishna is also very disturbed. He doesn't want us to be distracted with something that resembles him, which is material energy. He doesn't want that. He wants our full attention. Everything, absolutely. And in perfection. That's why we are here. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming to teach us what is it that Krishna expects. What is it the devotee should be, how he should behave, what should be his aspirations, actions, mood, thoughts, everything. Everything he's teaching us. Because if we would be experimenting, we definitely wouldn't gain any taste. We wouldn't gain any benefit. And we wouldn't be practicing. Devotional service, it's not easy to practice. We may say, oh yes, it's easy to. It's not easy because we are not qualified. Do we have any bhakti? Do we have any love? No, we're just so selfish. Do we want to surrender? No, we just want everybody else to surrender to us. It's just completely contrary. So how do we come to the stage, which is like, it's opposite of the perverted reflection that we are living here in this material existence? Somebody has to teach us. Somebody has to not just teach and show us. Somebody has to heavily mold us. The example of some story. How many stories like this? But anyway, about baking. Not baking, but it's kind of like a pot, earthen pot. You get these matkas, for summer, and then they are very nice cooling. They cool water. They have cooling, refreshing water in the summer to just gain some relief from heat. So then, how much endeavor is made to make that clay pot? It's like you have to of course mix the soil, some kind of. And then you have to, I don't know if something is added or whatever, and then you punch it and mix it, and it's just like dough, just making chapatis or something. Dum. It's like so many things have to be done. Then you have to shape it, and then finally when it comes, baking kind of, you put it in the oven or somewhere under fire. So it's heavy. Just imagine being in the position of that clay pot, So you have to be molded, you have to be shaped, you have to be mixed up, you have to be turned upside down practically. That's an expression. Everything has to happen so much, and then you're put in the fire. Anybody likes being in the fire? Like I said, use that clay pot for cooling ourselves in the summer, but then you're under even greater fire. You're burning. You're maybe perspiring, melting. You're just like, and then what? And then it gains the hardness, and then finally, it's out, and then it cools down. But then it has a shape. Then it has a form. Then it has a more permanent form, right? And then it can serve the purpose. What is the purpose? To hold the water. To hold the water, like just there was talking about Chaitanya Charitamrita. There was discussion. There was once an incident when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started eating clay. And then his mother, she just objected. It was like, well, what are you doing? It's like you're eating clay. There's so many nice rasgulla and this and that. Why are you eating clay? He had one devotee, one boy in Talasari. When he was very small, now he stopped doing this, whatever, he got some different taste. He would go in this temple, not temple hall, the Prasadam hall, and then he would pick up from the floor, would just break, because the floor was smeared with cow dung. So there was so much dry cow dung, he would pick that up, start chewing on it. He liked it. He developed taste for chewing that kind of cow dung. It's amazing because everybody steps on it. It's like, so it's a devotee special mercy that he was actually taking. So he had a special taste for it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like this was eating clay, and then his mother objected, saying that, what are you doing? You're eating clay? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started speaking some impersonal philosophy. What does it matter? It's all the same. Everything is one, everything ultimately merges in one, and everything, so I'm eating clay. And then Satyamata, she used a very logical argument. She said, if you take the soil like this, can the soil contain the water? No, it cannot. So, but when the clay is baked, then it can contain the water. So similar, it's not the same, eating rasgulla, rasmalai, this and that. This is Mahaprashadam, by the way, and this is for great benefit and special mercy for those who are coming personally attending the program. Janmashtami, Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So then she convinced him. She just presented a very logical argument. It's not all the same. The different purposes are achieved. So anyway, coming to the clay pot, so we are also like this molded, and we go through our spiritual life. It's not easy. That we say, yes, spiritual life, it's easy. It's maybe easier than any other spiritual practice at this age. We have been given really special mercy, but it's not so easy still. Prabhupada would say that spiritual life might be difficult sometimes, but material life, it's impossible. So what's your choice? Impossible or difficult? You choose. You have a choice. You have a choice. Like we keep on hearing, how is it in outside, how it's sometimes when we go through different purifications, so many difficulties. It's not easy to earn the money, no? It's not easy to maintain the family. It's not easy to go through those kind of material struggles. It's very purifying. But what you get out of this? Nothing. If it's not in connection to Krishna, nothing. Then you go again to the same thing again and again and again, lifetime after lifetime, struggling just to fulfill some kind of illusory idea that yes, I can be happy in this world by gaining certain things, which never happens. We never get satisfied, really. So better to struggle for Krishna, better to sometimes, yes, it's difficult sometimes, but going through that baking process, then we assume devotional shape, devotional shape. And then once we are out, then what can happen? Then, somebody takes the paints, and then paints that clay pot nicely, this way, that way, so nice, different images, whatever it is that. And then it looks so beautiful. It looks so amazing, And it's so practical. It's so. Before, what was it? Just soil. What do you do with the soil? No, not much. Not much. But afterwards, there's so much utility. There's so much benefit, and it's so much more attractive. So we are like this. We are shaped in the spiritual life by the spiritual master. We're shaped by Krishna. We're shaped by devotees, and we are, as I said, corrected sometimes. We are guided. We don't like that. Because we already think that's what's our problem here in this material. We think we've achieved perfection of everything and we know what we're doing. Of course, we've just assembled so many informations from various sources and we label it as our own, which is complete ignorance. But when devotees then try to enlighten us, then we are so resistful. We don't like that shaping. But material nature is constantly shaking us, no? Shaking and shaping, no? Isn't it? Material nature, when you have experience with people who are, let's say, you're studying, working, dealing, associating, whatever it is, they're always constantly shaping you also. Shaping you in what? Shaping you with what they expect from you to be for their purposes or their own, whatever they want you to be. You're constantly shaped. And you're trying to shape others, everybody. So it's a constant struggle going on. It's constant baking, burning, forming going on in this material world. But then For what? For what purpose? For what goal? But that we have to decide, and hopefully having some guidance, having some idea, and that we see when we receive information from the spiritual sources, then we understand, hey, this is way more better, way more constructive, very more meaningful and purposeful. So why should we allow others to, shape us in a way whatever they expect from us? And we see that how often, and I mean, it happens so often, it constantly goes on, but then how long it lasts? We have so many expectations. We have expectations in family, all the family members, interrelated, they have expectations from each other. And we constantly try to shape others, the way we think things should be, and people should relate and behave towards each other. It's a constant process going on. But if we don't know what is the ultimate aim and goal and purpose and benefit, then there's no use of this shaping, because there's no end of it. Because we also change our perceptions. If you a little bit become thoughtful for a moment, introspective even a little bit, or you try to recollect, you just see how many phases of your life you have had. When you thought about so many different things and you acted in so many different ways, and that has changed. It's not the same. It's constantly changing. It's not the same. You had so many thoughts about certain issues. Now you maybe have a different perceptions on it, or you had certain ideas how things should be, and this and that, and this has been changed. Why is it? Because it's a constant flux of material modes of material nature going on. And we are all under influence of all of those. We are never who we it's like you can never say this is who I am, and that's it forever. No, it doesn't work like this, because that's not who you are. You are spirit soul. You don't have even any idea about this. That's something only that it's eternal, nothing else. Everything else is temporary. And we just so strongly identify because of false ego that every moment, this is what it is and this is how things should be. And then we get different perception and perspective sometimes later on, and then we get disappointed and we think we're advancing, but we are constantly just like a dog chasing its tail, never being perfectly realized and satisfied. So then that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and then that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us. He's telling us this is what it means to be a devotee. This is what is eternal. This is what it's the most satisfying. Don't waste time on anything else. Because you've been doing that for billions of lifetimes. Who knows? We can't even trace it. Who knows how many universes what one has gone through. So why, again, doing this, chewing the chewed, as the expression goes in Srimad Bhagavatam, chewing the chewed. There's no Jews there. There's no Charnamrit there. Charnamrit is here. You have to come for that master. And Prabhupada. Who was there yesterday doing Abhishek? Few of you, nice. See? I got some Charnamrit afterwards. That's the essence of life. What else do you need? So that's way better than just trying to extract something that has no substance. So again, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us. So he's preaching devotional service and he's practicing it itself. It's just like, what is the most common objection that anybody has in life, especially when one is younger? Think about it. What is the most common grudge, objection, disagreement that one has when one is in teenage age? What is it? Okay, pretty close, pretty good. Being controlled by parents. Yes, huh? Nobody should restrict us. Okay, what else? That's also good. Freedom, yes. Huh? It's not that late. Huh? Kanish, wake up a little bit. All day is living. Bolo. Hopeless, What's the most common? Okay, you already got some hints here. Purpose, yeah, looking for some purpose, but in the course of such kind of search or seeking anything as such, then what do we do? What do we do? We rebel, no? We rebel against the authority, any kind of authority, be it a parent, be it whatever, you know. What you said? More precisely. Restrictions, yeah. We don't want any restrictions. We want to be free, but we don't even know what freedom means. In the name of so-called freedom, we're bound. We end up in more mess than what there was. So we don't want to accept any authority. That's every generation, everybody, you know, going through teenage, wildlife, whatever it is. Nobody wants to accept authority. Nobody. It's just natural. It's just natural because one wants to, again, express himself. What does that mean, oneself? What does that mean, expressing oneself? It's again, so many different inputs from various that one kind of imbibes and then merges as himself, kind of, in some way. But the principle, it's rebelling against the authority. We don't want to be like previous generation. We don't want to be like certain government also, because we see so many horrible things going on. You know, so many lies, so many scams, so many different kinds of things going on. And we see somehow or other, when we are young, we start perceiving this. We have some sense of perception of environment, dealings amongst the people and stuff like that. And we hope for some change. We hope for something to, and of course, nothing ever changes. We just fall back in the same, you know, same stream again, you know, being carried away. So, but some kind of element of rebellion, some kind of element of change or desire for change is there. It's there. So, principle of following authority, that's out of question. This is what the devotees, those who, when Srila Prabhupada came, he came at a time in the West when nobody wanted to follow authority. They just saw so much hypocrisy, you know, because they were saying was, don't do what I do, just do what I say, you know, what I tell you to do. So that was just, they call it neo-Victorian hypocrisy. Such hypocrisy. I mean, hey, this whole age is described as an age of quarrel and hypocrisy. You know? So that perception was there. We don't want that. We rebelled against it. But of course, that can't last. They tried, but it didn't last. Somebody has to take authority, but somebody has to become qualified also. But the problem is, if nobody is qualified, then there won't be any authority. What means becoming qualified? You know, later on, I remember when I was in that kind of state for a while, then we also had some ideas about anarchy. You know, anarchy means just nobody rules, anybody does whatever they want, so-called freedom. But anybody wants, then some more chaos. And there's more chaos, and then you suffer even more. There has to be some system. You know? So every generation has their own some kind of idea. Okay, we're gonna change the world. Haha, sounds so funny. You know? It's like we're gonna make things better. We're gonna start planting trees. I don't know. We're gonna start, this, that. It's like social work or whatever. I don't know. It's like, yeah, sounds good, but there is again hypocrisy behind that. Most of the people who start doing social work, as far as I know, they just think how to get settled and get good salary and something like this. I don't care about anybody else. If you scratch a little bit deeper than that, so that's what finally boils. So anyway, it's another kind of hypocrisy again. You know? So everybody's rebelling, no authority. So that's the genius of Srila Prabhupada. That's the genius of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Srila Prabhupada follows Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is that? He presented the absolute authority. Can you imagine? No authority from zero, from absolute, resentment and no desire. What is desire? Just complete aversion towards any kind of concept as such. And then Srila Prabhupada comes, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and said, Krishna is the absolute authority. Because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, there's so many Mayavadis. They would reject so many, authorities because they wanted to be authority. That's another system for establishing themselves as an authority. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing, but then Srila Prabhupada comes also at this age, and nobody wants to accept any kind of authority because they've seen enough hypocrisy, but they just don't know what to do. They just don't know how to go forward. And again, if you don't have authority, you won't be able to come out of it. It's like an endless loop. Downward spiral, actually. It's not upward. It's just getting worse. Yeah. And then at least, if you don't want to make it worse, then you end up at least in some kind of system, which again, it's rotten and dissatisfying. So Srila Prabhupada comes and he presents the absolute authority. You have to follow. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita. That's it. That's the end. That's the end of story. You have to follow this. That's the absolute authority. So then on what basis would those people who hated any authority, they wouldn't accept any authority, how did they accept Srila Prabhupada? What do you think? Think for a moment. Or at least maybe if you know, some of you might have read the Lamrita or heard something about Srila Prabhupada's early days in the West. So on which basis did Srila Prabhupada established Krishna as an authority and this process as authoritative? On what basis? Yes.
Because he himself was practicing and
I give them a chance to tell Kanish. Bolo. He didn't hear anyway. Huh? He woke up. Huh?
It is a chapter authority of absolute because they have faith and love.
Faith. What kind of faith? Faith in what?
On Prabhupada.
Well, why would they have a faith in Prabhupada? Just because he was an old man? They said, don't. They have a saying, don't trust anyone above 30. Yeah, that was
They have
another.
faith in Prabhupada.
Prabhupada was an old man. Why would they trust him? Huh?
They have faith on Prabhupada because Prabhupada have love of Krishna. So that's
Prabhupada had love of Krishna. Why do they care about love of Krishna? Why do they know what is Krishna?
I read in the language.
You read, but that's okay. That's not complete answer. Anybody else? If you don't answer, you don't get mercy. Then, I'm dividing. It remains on this side. Think a little bit. The brains will atrophy. Okay, baby. We've gone over everything. And then what? So what? There's never end of going through material anything. Material nature has plenty of options. They were frustrated. So what? So then Prabhupada came and what? They stopped being frustrated just because Prabhupada came. Okay, maybe you can speak loud, enlighten them. Tell them.
because what he was trying to teach was
Because Prabhupada was practicing what he was preaching. No? Prabhupada said he was very humble by nature. No? Prabhupada was doing Prabhupada was, they had one shower. Prabhupada was waiting till they used it also. Prabhupada was cooking, Prabhupada was cleaning, Prabhupada was, he didn't present himself as an authority. That's the point. He spoke about authority, but he never presented himself as an authority. He did everything as everybody else did. What he had, what he had for the table? He had for the table the trunk that he brought from India, kept his books in. That was his table for doing his work. That's it. Prabhupada had nothing. And they gained so much faith. Then they started following an authority. Because he set up what is an authority. He taught them how to follow. Because he followed. That's when it comes, when he had love for Krishna, and that's where he followed. That's where they gained the faith in Srila Prabhupada. And they started accepting an authority. So it's a practical, it's not theoretical. It's a practical process. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, that's the whole point. Why he did? He preached devotional service by practicing it himself. He didn't say one thing and did something else. No hypocrisy. You see, that's the point. No hypocrisy. Straightforward. I do, And that's why I expect you to do. Or maybe I don't even expect, but at least it would be beneficial, so you have a choice. But I want you to do something that I'm not doing. So very straightforward. And that's where they gain faith. That's where they understood there has to be an authority. Otherwise, any theoretical knowledge about even, especially even spiritual life, it's not going to change anyone's heart. It's not going to bring one to the self-realization. That's why we keep on stressing. And that's why I said, and I told everybody even earlier, okay, Vipin is here, Varun and whatever. I said, now Janmashtami, this kind of festivals, everybody should figure out how to be engaged in some kind of service. If you don't do any practical service, coming here and just hearing this, some kind of discussions for entertainment is completely, almost practically useless. It's not going to help you becoming, self-satisfied. Atma, there is an expression, Atma Tripta. Atma Tripta, Atma Tripti. You're not going to get that. If you don't start doing devotional service, you're not going to get that. You will not become self-realized. You won't get any satisfaction. And this is what Srila Prabhupada, so there is a verse you can see in Bhagavad Gita 6.8. Anybody has a folio or database or something, look at the verse 6.8. It says that if one doesn't translate knowledge into practical application of it, he'll never attain this Atma Tripti stage. Never. One will never get that realization. And then one will never become guided by Paramatma. One will never realize, one will never transcend duality of material world. One will never achieve peace. One will never achieve perfection. It's not possible. It's not going to happen. One has to apply the knowledge. One has to become active in the spiritual practice. And this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes. That's why Prabhupada came. That's why we have devotees who are teaching us, who are guiding us, practically demonstrating what is to be done. Because we don't know how to do that. We just have no idea. We have to agree to be guided. Of course, they guide by their own humble persuasion. That's the process. That's how process works. It's not by force. So hopefully one will realize how better this is compared to any material experience. So practical application. Otherwise, one can't transcend duality of the material world. Even something. That's what Krishna pointed throughout whole Gita. No matter what the state it is, one continues practicing devotional service. How is that possible? Because devotee has a realization. Devotee has a taste. Devotee developed higher values. He is in touch with Paramatma. He's guided. He's directed properly. Unless you do service, you cannot have that realization. That's what spiritual life is. That's what you're going to gain by spiritual life, not by religious life. Yes, I'm pious, I come to the temple and I give maybe some donation or something. Yes, all very nice. It's not all very nice. It's beginning. That's what's nice. It's not perfect yet. It's not good enough yet. It's not even good enough yet. It's good, but it's not good enough. One has to quickly start to utilize this theoretical, some knowledge and some attraction towards spiritual life, but then apply it, and then one will gain realization. Otherwise, again, one will be under mind's dictation, remain under mind's dictation only. That means I like something, I don't like, maybe I'll do, maybe I won't, maybe. It's still under the world of duality. One will never transcend it to the level of the soul. So that's a great misfortune. One will not have the realization. You cannot have realization of the self. You cannot have realization of Krishna unless you start serving. So that's why, who did any service? There's some crowd control. Who did crowd control? See? What you're doing? Pushing people or directions. Crowd control. Fine, great. There was some plate washing and some Sharam service. Bipin, what else was it?
How can you be people?
Okay, so next time will be better. Get more chance. Because we have to demonstrate some service attitude. No, then they'll give us more chance. They'll involve us more. No? There'll be so much more opportunities. Next festival, it's what? I don't know. Govardhan. No, maybe Radhashram. Maybe something we'll see. No? And then you see how much you're getting taste and attraction and love towards spiritual life. But it's all by service. It's all by service. It's not by waiting that something will just manifest on its own or whatever. So that's where devotees have to guide us. We have to see how devotees are doing certain service, and then we also have to engage and not remain passive. It doesn't work. So that's the only way to gain realization. I mean, you all know that story. Not that story. I'll tell you one story. Story of boatmen, no, and everybody knows the story. So what is they say, moral of the story? What's the moral of the story? When the storm comes in your spiritual life, as you know how to swim, you will not survive. There are storms constantly going on. Can we stop rainy season? No. It's going to be rainy season coming over and over. So we have to be ready. You have to be ready for that. So you cannot just claim, yes, I know it will come, but you have to do something about it. No? You have to do something about it. Aram, say one second. We just came. Let's put patience. So you have to understand what we're talking about, then you can ask questions. So that scholar who wanted to cross the river, and he was bragging about knowing about astronomy and about the marine life and biology and so many different things. He was asking that simple man, boatman, what do you know about this? And he was admitting, I have no idea. You know, I've never come across such kind of details of all that kind of academic knowledge. And then the scholar was so proud, and he was saying, 50% of your life is wasted, so much, you don't know about this, you don't know about that. And then of course that storm came, and they were still quite away from the shore, and the water started filling the boat. The boatman said, we won't make it. We're too far. Do you know how to swim? And the scholar said, no, what are we going to do? He said, there's nothing that can be done. 100% of your life is wasted. That's it. Theoretical knowledge is not going to help you. You don't have practical application of the basic things, and what can be done. So don't just rest on thinking that, okay, I come to temple and I this and I that. It's not good enough. You have to start applying the teachings. Then you'll gain so much more. Then you don't even have to become a scholar. Krishna will reveal everything from within the heart. You'll have connection with Krishna. Then you'll be the greatest scholar. Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj was such a great devotee. He didn't know how to write his own name. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, who was the walking encyclopedia, he gained an honorary degree from Calcutta University. He was entitled Bhaktisiddhanta by the king of Tripura. He was just like, people were running away from him. They couldn't. He would just cut them to pieces, in any argument. So he accepted Gorkishore Das Babaji as his spiritual master. So somebody who was as we said, walking encyclopedia, accepted someone who couldn't even write his own name. Why? Gorkishore Das Babaji had a wealth of realization, had a wealth of Krishna prema. He didn't have to, know how to write his name or whatever. It didn't mean anything, because he was guided by Krishna. That's the difference between theoretical and practical understanding in life. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to teach. That's what Srila Prabhupada came to teach. So you have to figure out, what can I do? You ask Bipin, what can we do to make this light of Bhagavad, a little more, better, successful, so that we can progress more in spiritual life. And that's why Prabhupada said, he said, when Rupa Goswami met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayag, he offered his respectful obeisances by submitting that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was more magnanimous than any avatar of Krishna because he was distributing the love of Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu more, but that's why Krishna, he himself came to teach us. Krishna doesn't do that. If you know, you know. You don't know, well, Krishna's not going to teach you. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to teach you. Krishna's not going to waste time. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. He'll, like, sometimes I have to show some people how to clean the floor. They don't know how to clean the floor. They just paste everything around. That's pasting. That's not cleaning. It's a big mess. Anyway, Prabhupada also did the same thing. So you take the cloth. Anyway, I'm not going to go to this. And then show personally how it should be done. Or any other thing, cooking, this, that, whatever it is. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes personally. Prabhupada did it personally. He taught everything, how to live, how to serve, how to die, everything. Everything. From beginning till the end. That's magnanimity, I would say. That's magnanimous. That's incredible mercy. So that's what Rupa Goswami met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, wow, this is so merciful, it's so amazing, so wonderful. More than anybody. And what he was giving for absolute no qualification, nobody was qualified, he's giving the most greatest, the highest treasure, giving love of Krishna for nothing. Well, that's exceptional mercy. That's exceptional mercy. But there is one requirement. Anybody knows what that is? Or Nityananda? Yes, what? Huh? Mercy. Yeah, but something else. Mercy is there. What is the question? What is the question? Question is, there's one qualification that we still require to gain the mercy. Little, sincerity, little something. Yes? Little faith, little shraddha, little faith. Let's say even I give you prasadam, so much mercy, no? And you say, what is this? Little faith, at least that you can take it. No? A little faith is required. Then we can understand what is that mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so we'll continue next time. Any comments, questions? Yes. 1 second. Can we discuss something in regards to subject? First, then we'll deal with if it's not in relationship, then we can discuss that later. Or maybe 1 second. Right? Did you hear what I said? In discussion, in relationship to discussion, now what we discuss. So there's some flow there. It is. You sure? Okay.
It's in a relation, sir.
Okay.
How can we get detachment from everything instead of like we don't know what's going on inside us, but we try to do that, but still we are not able to fight that.
Guidance. We have to have proper guidance.
We are trying our best.
Arjuna tried his best. Arjuna tried so many things. Based on his own understanding and conceptions and everything else, he failed. We are no better than Arjuna. We are way behind in terms of any qualification. So Arjuna showed us then the way. We have to surrender and we have to follow instructions of those who have seen the truth. Tad vidi pranipatena pariprashna seva parikshanti te jnanam jnaninas tatvadashna. Same thing here, Rupa Goswami. Respectful obeisance is submitting, becoming submissive, and following the instructions. Then everything will fit in a place, everything will be resolved. So you cannot come, or anybody cannot just come and say and expect instant this and instant that unless they start practicing the process.
How to control that? Control the emotions, control everything, whatever going on into you.
Well, there is a process for everything. You have to start following the process. So we'll tell you that after the class, because you're asking too much now. It takes time and it takes understanding of one's position, and then in relationship to everything else, how to do it. It has to be done. It's not going to be resolved in 2 minutes. Okay? Yes? Yeah.
Related to the same topic.
Okay.
As we said it, when we are young, we rebel and restrict.
Yeah.
Right? But if we don't restrict, right? Just complete, keep our arrogance aside, ego aside. Then you said the young generations always think we want to keep this upcoming society better.
Hmm.
We want to do better.
Hmm.
Is that right? Right? We should have that.
Well, that's right, but the problem is it's wrong because you don't know how to do it.
Exactly. As I said, we not having the arrogance and ego, we keeping that aside by the guidance of elder people.
Okay.
But we should have that vision, right? And we should teach this upcoming.
Hopefully, but we should also know what we are teaching. We can teach only what it's, again, realized and what it's proved, what works.
But the vision should be that only.
That should be vision, but that vision is only practically given by some spiritual authority. Because we've seen that all the material authorities have failed, and they'll keep on failing. So that should be learned. Yes.
Prabhuji, yesterday in the Bhagavatam class of Srila Prabhupada Hari, he was telling that the first service is to chant, and like that is also service, and then there's like other services which we go and practice. So how this chanting service and learning service, it is different from those services? Like I want to.
Because chanting means, my dear Krishna, please engage me in your service. It's a prayer. You're praying, my dear Krishna, please engage me in your service. No, it's a prayer. So that's the first service. First service is to situate yourself properly, have a proper understanding, mentality. And then when you ask for service, then you're ready to do any other service.
So does that mean the services which we do like outside services?
Prabhupada said that's why this is the first and foremost service, chanting. Because by chanting we develop our relationship with Krishna also. And then once we know, then we will know how to work on that relationship. So that's the first and foremost service, chanting. That's the first and foremost instruction. Once we're done with chanting, then we do so many other services. So wonder and chanting. Otherwise, in essence, you really don't have to do anything else. If you can chant whole day, can you do it? So at least do 16. At least do 16. That's the minimum. Out of duty. And then mind can be engaged in so many other activities. Yes or no? Okay. Yeah.
It is a saying that we should do more and more service, so that would help us to grow the country, as you have explained. So, people like us who are grastas are dealing with the day-to-day life and materialistic life. So the thing is that we are doing seva once in a while. Suppose on a Janmashtami, then next Janmashtami, Radha Ashtami, and so on. Whatever the festival comes.
What means Grihastha? Grihastha means Krishna is the center. Krishna is the master of the home.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean the temple. It's not only the temple then, and it's the home. Krishna is the center of any kind of activity one does. So its home is then not different than the temple. The temple is the home and home is the temple. So you're serving Krishna, every grihastha should have a deities at home, and everything one does should be for keeping Krishna in the center, serving Krishna. You offer prasadam to Krishna, you offer everything to Krishna. Everything you do throughout the day, then you offer that to Krishna. So then there is no difference. And even if you say the temple, if one can do occasional service, but then do it with quality.
That's what you hear
Okay.
from very often.
But you're doing it still. There's no difference what you do at home. That's also your devotion. So
Because people living here, they also face a lot of
your devotion should be done at home. Krishna is also at home. It's not only in the temple. Okay. Okay, we'll stop here. Time's up. Yeah, we'll discuss after the program. Okay, Shlo Prabhupada ki jai, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Prabhupada.